My name is Romaine and I am the project officer for the North Somerset Bat Survey here at the Bat Conservation Research Lab. So we developed this project with North Somerset Council. We wanted to take a proactive community-led approach where we identify in North Somerset the areas that are most important for wildlife. So when development does occur, we can try and minimise those impacts. So why bats? Well, bats are extraordinary in their own right, really. They're the only flying mammal. They echolocate, so they produce ultrasound, which is sound that we can't hear. It's above our range of human hearing. They're flying around the night sky, producing these really high-pitched calls, finding insects. They just live in a completely different sensory world that is impossible for us to comprehend. And for that reason alone, I find them fascinating. But they live for a long time. They live for over 30, 40 years. They reproduce slowly, which means their populations grow slowly. And as a result of that, their populations can be really sensitive to environmental changes, which is handy for us because we can use them as bioindicators. So what is a bioindicator? It's an indirect measure of how wildlife populations are doing more widely in the landscape. So we can measure bats and see what their populations are doing, and that can give us an idea of how all of the other species that are present in the landscape are doing. What's great about bats is because they're so widespread, they exist in good numbers, and they echolocate, which means that we can use bat detectors, place them across the landscape, and we can have a really high resolution understanding of how wildlife might be being impacted by environmental change. North Somerset is a particularly special place for all sorts of different bat species. This includes the particularly unique and rare lesser and greater horseshoes that roost and breed and forage all across the area, foraging across our ancient hedgerows, our woodlands, and across cattle-grazed pastures. And through the North Somerset Bat Survey, we've managed to detect over 16 species, including the very rare Myotis bextinii, the Bechstein's bat, but also the more common species are Dolbentons, which flies over waterways, over ponds, and also the really common pipistrelle and soprano pipistrelle, so named because it sings, it echolocates at a higher frequency than its common pipistrelle cousin. Bats are absolutely voracious insect consumers. Many can eat thousands and thousands of insects in a single night, more than their entire body weight. When you scale this up to an entire population of bats, this is an incredibly important ecosystem service that we're getting for free, keeping insect populations, including pests, in check. And bats use any habitat where insects can be found in abundance. So it could be woodlands, such as where we are now. It can be over lakes and rivers, but it can also be in our urban gardens. So if you plant in a sensitive manner where you're including a diverse range of native species that provide habitats for lots of insects, you'll also be attracting lots of bats. And it's a fantastic way to help conservation of your local wildlife.